And we are back. My name is Penny L.A. Shepherd, and this is the Awake Nation that you're watching in our fifth hour. I'd like to thank Karen Britt for coming back every day consistently. You're here every single time that we need you, and Catherine Sorrios, Oracle Whispers, and Heather Day Music, and Karen. Yours is the ElasticArmyBand.com. People can find you pretty much there. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. I can't hear you, Karen. You're not audible. Catherine?
Yes. Hello.
This one, nope, can't hear you. Heather?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you now.
Because I could hear Catherine and me, but not Karen. So
No, we cannot hear you, Karen. You might have to sign in and sign out. Can you hear me? Okay, we cannot hear you. I'm not sure why, what the problem is. We're going to bring in our next guest, which is Dr. Elena Eustache. Dr. Elena, how are you?
I am great. Hello, beautiful ladies. Such a pleasure to be here.
So we have Heather Day Music. She's also a singer and a writer. She's written a book called AI 2030, and Catherine Sorrios. She is a psychic, and her you can find her on Facebook under Oracle Whispers or Catherine Sorrios. How are you, and what are you up to, Dr. Elena?
I am awesome. I am in my office and I am just preparing launching of my masterclass, How to Be Feminine, in September. So working on that.
Do you have any? Now, you have also a book, that is correct? More than one.
How to Be Feminine.
Can you read us some passages from that?
Yeah, for sure. So let me see. Maybe I can read you the definition of a feminine woman. Okay, so the anchor feminine woman is the seventh category and is the only one of the seven women that are in my book that is a healthy feminine model. That's why we call her the anchor woman, because she's anchored. She's authentically feminine. She's emotionally predictable and respectful in her relationship. She's caring and will keep her word, but will communicate when there is a problem. Her behavior can be a little bit unpredictable. She's playful and she loves herself. She doesn't hesitate to say no when she feels it's necessary because she knows her own mind. The anchor woman makes herself available to a man she's interested in, but not necessarily at moment's notice. She has boundaries and standards, which is what masculine men want to go for. A masculine man may get conned by a claw woman or a bitch. They may enjoy being with Wendy, which is the doormat, because they take care of them. They may have a great admiration and respect for Nan. Those are all masculine women. But they really crave feminine anchor women as a partner. And all these six types of women may look feminine, but they're actually masculine, which is the Wendy, the doormat, the bitch, the claw woman, which is the gold digger, the cougar, and the nun, and the masculine woman. But there's only one feminine, which is the anchor woman. So it's always important to look at your emotional life and spiritual life and financial life as you look at your physical life with your partner. Ask yourself a question like, how much is my man cherishing me emotionally, spiritually? Attempt to evaluate those things. It's important. Is he financially supporting you? Figure out what categories you are from these women and what is your partner, because there's also seven men, but only one is masculine. And do you want the same thing? If not, there is a space for healthy compromise. Being feminine is powerful. We need to learn as much as we can about the different feminine aspect of our nature. Then we must nurture those traits rather than pushing them down and trying so hard to be masculine. Women are amazing. We give life. We are beautiful. We are peacemaker of the world. We are the engines that keeps our homes, communities, and businesses running smoothly. The qualities of femininity are beautiful and necessary. It's a mistake to suppress them. Women are the heart of the world. The sooner we embrace that truth, the happier and more fulfilled we will be. And then it has like a lot of working pages where you can write notes and try to change yourself to be more feminine. So I made it as a book and a little bit as a workbook too. So it's kind of helpful with the tools.
When did you start your masterclass? Did you start it yet?
No, I am filming everything and it's going to be ready in September. We're going to have a part pre-recorded and then you can also do live on Zoom, like a 3-day live course. But everything will be pre-recorded, so if people can't be in person, they can still get it and watch it later.
So actually, that's kind of like masterclass. I did take
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the writer now. It's eluding me. But I took a master class when I was trying to unerase myself and relearn how to write again. And so it just fundamentally gave me, reiterated those things that I already knew.
Yes.
James Patterson. So I took James Patterson's master class, and but somehow or another, I think James is actually somewhat CIA. And then later on, I found that James had written a book about Epstein, and I found that out through a Netflix project. And I was like, okay, that's weird, because basically God was like, yeah, he's pretty much CIA. He's written something like 164 books, and it was $90 for it, but it was all pre-recorded. And people were like, wow, James Patterson. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's a whole pre-recorded thing. And so you go through all these steps, and they have PDFs and a whole lecture, project. So when I was watching the Netflix thing, it was one of his books, and he was one of Epstein's neighbors.
Oh,
So
wow.
he wrote like a whole series on Epstein.
Was it in Palm Beach or on the island? Not probably on the island.
No, he was his neighbor in Florida. So, not far from, I think it's 658 El Brio was where the house used to be in it's not Palm Springs, it's Palm Beach.
Palm Beach, yeah.
Yes, because I'm actually from Miami. So I was born in Hollywood, which Hollywood, California is actually the mother city or the sister city to Hollywood, Florida. The individual who created it because Hollywood, California was his favorite city. And then he also created it to bring down all the stars, which in fact he did, but there were already mob factions in Florida, as well as I like to say that that Florida had more CIA agents in it in the 50s than Langley, because we're running the space program out of Cape Canaveral with one of the paperclip individuals, Werner von Braun, who was running our space program.
Amazing. So what did you learn from the class? Was it helpful?
It was helpful. And that's why I say, and we also have another friend who's going to be on tomorrow, Alessandro, who works with Nick Alvear at Good Lion TV. It's one of his productions. And he also, he does videos and documentaries on Hollywood, on the underbelly of the military industrial entertainment complex, which is essentially run by CIA factions, which are all over, every single region. But what I learned from that masterclass was just the fundamentals that I had already had within me, which I had been writing since I was like in 6th grade. I wrote a children's book, and in 3rd grade, I was reading on 11th grade level. But they kept erasing me in these various projects, which the projects are all over, as you well know, because you talk to people in Hollywood. You also do or have done marital counseling. Is that correct?
I still do it, and I work with a lot of stars. I don't advertise as much because I have lots of referrals, and there's only that many people I can take. but I have people for 10, 15, 20 years as my clients, and a lot of people from entertainment or Silicon Valley, royal families, all of that. Yeah.
And you provide them love, insight, and also in life insight. And then tell us a little bit about, you don't have to name the clients, but tell us a little bit about some of the positive things that you've seen throughout the years with individuals who came in. And then also I'd like you to talk about your the Eustache Institute and some of the things that you do with how you help people with their brains. And many of our people have not maybe seen you before, so can you just give a foundational introduction to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Elena Eustache. I am known as the love doctor. I've been doing love and relationship coaching over 2 decades, but I have a degree, PhD in psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, motivational coaching, parent instructor. I'm a geek. I love to study and always grow because I have so many different clients and they come to me for so many different things. And some of them are very successful and billionaires, and they still want advice from me. So I have to grow as a person every single day to be able to advise someone like that. So I'm a geek and I always study. And I am the founder of the Eustache Institute in Beverly Hills. It's a wellness, beauty, aesthetic clinic. It has a lot of wellness treatments that are excellent. We actually have lots of clients that unfortunately post the COVID vaccines have lots of side effects. I mean, Jamie Foxx just had a brain cloth and is
Yes,
half
yes. I
paralyzed.
think David talked about that the other day, that they were not speaking about what actually happened to Jamie on set.
Yeah.
And he had a history with drugs. So everyone was thinking, all right, well, did he, fall into remission in drugs? And it just most recently came out that he actually had taken, I don't know how many shots he had,
Yeah.
but that
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And hopefully me or someone can help him soon because he is half paralyzed and he can't see. He's half blind supposedly, which is horrible. So he had a blood clot in the brain, which is so unusual for
Was this a
someone of his age.
CVST? Was this a CVST by chance? Which is
I don't have all the details. I just found out yesterday. So, hopefully he gets the proper help or he come to us. We'll see how it's going to work out because we work with lots of clients that have those kind of conditions. The neurofeedback that I do definitely helps you repair the motor skills of the brain. And then, we have regenerative medicine and treatments that really help with that. So we have lots of athletes. We have a lot of people with Alzheimer, dementia, ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, Lyme. We have all sorts of clients. And then we have beauty treatments that, all the beauty treatments clinic do. And we also do a lot of treatments for weight loss and be in the best shape possible, Hollywood style with 6 packs and 12 packs. And we have machines and different treatments like that. So you can go to eustacheinstitute.com and you see all the treatments there.
Can you also tell people what your business address is and your phone number if they need to call
Yes.
you?
So it's 205 South Beverly Drive, and it's Suite 214. That's where the reception is, but we have multiple suites here. And the phone number is 424 362 9652. 424 362 9652.
So can you tell us, if you were, like say I was Jamie Foxx, I had Jamie Foxx's condition, how would you help me?
So first, we would have to work on the motor skill of the brain because obviously when you get paralyzed, it is from the brain. So we would do a brain map and see what's going on and then train those areas. And then our doctor would see him regarding, recovery, what regenerative medicine we would use for him and treatments to get him back walking and help him with his vision. So we have lots of amazing treatments here. Our doctor, Dr. J, is really expert in that field. It's his passion for 35 years. So he's very, very good.
Wow, 35 years.
Yeah, they help. They've had some experience with like clients that were blind or had bad vision. So they have different regenerative medicine that they do treatments for. Yeah.
So this was in Jamie's case. What do you think actually caused? What's the underlying cause for this, in your estimation?
My estimation is probably the COVID vaccine because it causes a lot of blood clot. My own sister only took two and has a severe blood clot in her leg, and I know many patients that do. So if you took three or four, it can be severe. And one of my neighbors in my building took four within 10 months, and every organ in her body fell, and she went to coma. And she was this
Oh my
beautiful
God.
Indian lady, yogi, vegan, eating healthy, and put four of them within 10 months in her body and just died within 4 days.
Yeah, someone in my family very close to me got a CVST. That's why I mentioned after only 2 shots, got a lump, a mass lump on the side of injection, swollen glands, and then it's like a deep vein thrombosis in the brain, and had a lot of the symptoms that it seems like if she had gotten worse, maybe would end up like Jamie. But I will say, in hopes for Jamie Foxx and anyone else suffering, her clot didn't go away, which is unusual. They usually resolve with blood thinners. So
Yeah.
we know it's
My
probably solid,
sister, yeah,
but her brain grew new nerves around it and new blood vessels around it, and she regained her functionality, even though
oh,
the clot is still there.
yeah.
That's a miracle. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that's one thing that's very strange when I talk to people. They take the blood clot medicine, which normally works pretty fast, and literally 6 months later, the blood clot is still there. That's the bizarre thing with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So. So that's about that. So I am very passionate about helping people to love themselves and to find themselves. And I get lots of cases where people are really suicidal and they are about to give up. And I have to go to the roots of their thinking, of their silent thoughts, of the judgments, everything that's going on, and help them to reprogram the way they think and their perception and retrain themselves to learn how to be happy again and get healthy routines. And that's from children to adults. And there's actually a lot of people in Hollywood that have severe depression and that been through a lot of traumatizing things, which I cannot release the details, but yeah, definitely help people to forgive themselves, forgive others, let go and heal, and start to love themselves and create those healthy daily routines that will keep them going.
I know this is a question you probably get asked a lot, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What led you, because you've had a very illustrious past, is a linguist, a person that knows many languages, as an actress, as a producer. What led you to this venue?
I guess I was trying to find myself and work on myself to be the best version of myself. And then more and more people started to come to me, and then it turned into business. And it's just something, we all have a purpose. And if I can help one person at a time to love themselves again, to forgive someone, to create peace or harmony in their family, or to get happy and start life all over again, that's what makes my life, you know, meaningful. So of course I love entertainment and I love all those other things, but the meaning of the life is to serve others and to help others to change their life. And when you can just touch someone's life and they remember it forever, because that helps them to make the shift not to take their life, or create a happy marriage, boundaries and family and harmony, it just makes your life more meaningful and passionate.
Why did you start the master class?
Because you can only reach that many people one on one. And I feel like the biggest problem in today's society is us women trying to be 24/7 masculine. And then you find yourself completely drained and exhausted and sick, and you don't know why. I was so tired in my 20s. I had no energy because I was a doormat and constantly said yes to everything. And then when I figured out how to be feminine, today I'm in my late 40s, I'm going to be 50 in a year, and I have more energy than ever before because I know how to switch from the masculine to feminine and how to love myself. And I have more energy to be there for others. So I feel like it's such a big problem for this world because we are pushed to be masculine, but it's not our nature. We are still women. So it's good to have the balance.
Dr. Love, can I ask you a question? You're talking about this like masculine and feminine divine thing, which, there's this whole twin flame TikTok trend. And so I've been going to therapy. I'm getting a divorce. Hey, everybody, whatever, oversharing. But I found that I was
Not
too much,
oversharing.
I was too much in my masculine. And I find that when you're not in a balanced relationship, I can actually be more feminine by myself. But obviously, we all want a positive, or I do want a positive masculine so I can be more feminine, right? What do you
Mhm.
think of this twin flame thing? Have you looked into it, or would you look into it so that the next time I can get your perspective on that? Because it's like I've been working on balancing my masculine feminine, but sometimes I feel like this twin flame thing is saying, no, I'm going to be just all feminine and they're just going to be all masculine and we're just going to match like wonderful soulmates or whatever. And so I don't know what's right or healthy anymore. I'll be honest. I have no idea what a healthy relationship looks like.
I feel once you learn what feminine is and how it works, the principle, and you start to practice it, it's going to be so easy, just like drinking water. When you need to be masculine, you will be masculine. When you need to switch to your feminine, it will take you 5 seconds. It's just like a muscle. And you will know when to use which one. Because if you're with someone that is possible partner, or if you with your girlfriends, or if you not in a work environment, you can totally relax into your feminine. If you're in a work environment, you need to take your power back and be in charge and control. So by knowing which one is what and how to switch it, it's just intuition. You will know how to use it. And we forgot how to use the feminine. So we're constantly in our masculine. And then when we are in our feminine, we feel like an alien and we feel weird. And then you want to stay there all the time. But if you're all the time feminine, nothing gets done. So it's not to be confused about it. It's just like a muscle. You got to learn both because you will always need both. And then in situations, know how to switch without effort. It's going to become really easy.
Would you say that that also has to do with men?
Definitely. But if you have the tools how to be feminine, you will set boundaries with men that are feminine around you. And if they don't want to change, you just nicely gonna leave. So by you being feminine, it will help the man next to you grow more into his masculine because you're not gonna cherish his feminine. You're gonna support his masculine energy. So there is a way, like the most simple thing is instead of asking your man how he feels, unless he is sick or bleeding or puking, then ask him please how he feels. Ask him what he thinks. What do you think, honey? And what do you want? And he's like, well, I feel like that. I hear how you feel, but what do you want to do about it? So you have to get him into the logic and not talk about his feelings all the time because then you're not going to get anywhere. Your feelings won't get cherished. So always ask man what he thinks, what he wants, what is his suggestions, opinions. And you don't tell your man constantly, I think I want, I think I want. You're going to confuse him and there's going to be competition. This is how I feel about it. If he says, well, what do you think? Well, I'm not sure what I think, but I feel like this. So always talk about your feelings with man and tell him more what you don't want. The want list from women is so bloody long, they never gonna
Right.
remember. It's like miles long.
I'm sorry.
But if you tell him,
Guilty.
hey, I don't want to eat pork, I don't eat meat, and I don't drink alcohol, he's gonna remember. But if you
Right.
tell him all the things you like, he's definitely gonna bring you the pork, the alcohol, and
Right.
So it's better to say, man, what you don't want, so at least you don't get frustrated and what you feel. And when he tells you what you want, you tell him, well, this will feel good, or this will make me happy, or this is what I desire, instead of I want, I want, I want. It's more masculine. So it's
Catherine,
how you use the language.
Catherine, did you have a question?
No. I've been listening to Dr. Elena, and she's covered everything about men, about the women, about how men should come in contact with the female sides. We need to get in contact with our masculine side. We need to balance both sides. So she's covered before, Lee. She has.
Thank you. And one of the most important thing for a woman is you got to learn how to speak from your heart. When you're in your head, I already said it, you're dead. When you're in your heart, you're smart. So speak from your heart authentically and learn how to be vulnerable. You're going to get more achieved by being vulnerable and authentic than being logical and try to like control the situation. So obviously, if you're in an unsafe environment and it's someone toxic or narcissistic, make them right and get the hell out. Don't even try to have a conversation. It's waste of your feminine energy. But if it's someone that loves you, you gotta open your heart and vulnerably and authentically say how you feel. And if they love you, they will cherish your feelings. And if they don't, you close your heart and you go take care of yourself because you will be able to handle it. But not opening your heart and not be vulnerable and authentic, you're missing out on love.
So are you saying that thinking is more masculine and feeling is more feminine? Okay.
Actually, I do have a question for Dr. Elena. What happens with, a lot of our men, the ones that we might have as a boyfriend, as a husband, even our own boys that we raise, a lot
Yes.
of, we mother them too much.
Yes.
So we need, what is your advice out there? Like when they come back, like just say my husband, right? I'm married. Okay. So sometimes I do feel like I mother him too much. And I actually turn around and say, I'm not your mother. I am your wife. So,
Yes.
so how do you fit? What's your advice out there to separate that syndrome, that Oedipus syndrome between, a wife, a mother?
Yes. So any boys under age 10 is feminine. So you can cherish his feelings. Once they turn 10, you have to ask them for permission to speak up. What is their suggestion? What is their opinion? And give them choices. You don't tell them you're going to go do this. You can do this or you can do that. Which one do you want? It's still going to be two things you want, but it's not controlling. So man needs choices so that they feel like they have the final decision. You got to listen more than talk. Like I sit with my son and he talks for 2, 3 hours and then tell me what a great conversation he had. It's mainly like a monologue. But
Right.
if I interfere him once, he will stop talking and the conversation is over. The same thing on the phone. If I call him and I cut him, he stops talking. He wants to get off the phone. If I tell him, oh my God, are you serious? Wow, tell me more. He will go for hours. So masculine men love to talk. So listening is feminine. And if you have something to tell your husband or a child that's older than 10 years old, tell him, hey, I have a suggestion. Do you want to hear me? If they say no, zip it. If they say yes, then with permission, you teach them and preach them. But don't teach them and preach them without permission. That's being a mom. So if you get the permission, they're like, sure, mom, tell me. Even if you preach them, it doesn't mean they're going to do it your way. You just share with them and then they can make a decision. Does it make sense? So that's how you handle it.
I have a breaking news story. There was an India train crash. Many people fear dead and hundreds injured. After a train crash in eastern India, at least 50 people have been reportedly killed after a passenger train derailed and collided with a goods train in Odisha's Balsore district. Just thought I'd
Oh,
throw that out there. So, in continuation of our conversation, Dr. Elena, I know that you are very beloved in your community. I don't know how many people know this out here, but you have a huge following. And I do remember a call out from an individual who died, Anne Heche, who said your name over and over and over again. She loved you. She
thank
just
you.
kept saying, Dr. Elena Eustache, the love doctor, the love doctor, the love doctor.
Thank you.
And so there are many people you keep confidences because that is the business of being an individual who does crisis intervention and therapeutic interventions psychologically. But then you also, I have to like look when you say, well, we do beauty treatments. Yeah, that's kind of like the small thing that you do, because you do so many other things in regards to helping people with brain injuries. I'd like to switch a little bit of focus on that. And can you tell us how you actually do that? Because you told us before a little bit about the procedure, but I'd like our audience to know a little bit more.
Yeah, so we have lots of people with concussions and lots of athletes, boxers, NFL players, football players, hockey players. So the main treatment is neurofeedback and oxygen chamber, because when you have concussion, you need lots of oxygen for the brain to heal fast, and then neurofeedback. Some athletes have to do it all the time because they get injured all the time, so they're stuck with me for life. And some people just had a car accident or something, or a child fell from a swing or bicycle, so then you retrain them and they could. So you do a brain map and you see where is the brain affected, and then you just train it back by sound to balance, so they can feel good, they are not depressed, anxious, they don't have ringing ears, they don't have migraines, they can sleep, they can focus. And it's hard because sometimes as a boxer, you can get so traumatized and beat up in the game that one side of your body is weaker than the other because of the coherence of the brain. So once you balance it, they can go back to the game without that trauma and be strong on both sides. And we have machines also for bodily injuries here. So, and we do some regenerative medicine here. Dr. J does it. So it's a great journey, and athletes really love it because we get them fast back and they can go back into their game.
You also are going to be coming out with a dating app.
Yes, it's called Love the App. So we are planning between September, October to a soft launch, and it's gonna be free the first 6 months. It's only for committed relationship or marriage with children. It's not for dating, it's not for hookups. It's very romantic, and you can match with people that are have the same religion or same political beliefs, education, financial background. So it's kind of specific. So when you go on a date, you just have to see if you have chemistry, because most of the time you're already compatible. So it makes life easier, because in today's world, 7 men out of 10, especially in their 30s, 40s, don't want a commitment. So it's very hard for the woman to go through those numbers and being rejected and trying so hard. So it's better to go on 5 dates with someone that is looking for the same thing and has the same values and morals, and just see if you have chemistry, than going on 100 dates and maybe only two people would be compatible. You get drained and exhausted.
So I have a question then, Dr. Love. Once I'm finally divorced in the dating world, how do I know that someone's actually looking for a commitment?
Well, if they're not looking for in a general or on my side?
Like, both, whatever, just
Well, by being honest, when they say what is it that you like, you can kind of play silly and say, "Well, I'm looking for someone that want a committed relationship and lifelong partner that is blah 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 blah." And they're like, "Wow, I didn't ask you all that." Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. The more honest you are, if they get scared, let them run away. We don't need to sit around with someone that is not compatible with you. There's no need for that.
so authenticity will protect me,
It
basically.
will protect you from wasting 6 months or a year of your
Right.
time and
Yeah.
trying to please someone and get intimate with someone that doesn't even have the same value. Just say it as it is. If they run away, they will. And if they like you, they will find it sexy.
You know, Dr. Elena, I am on a dating app, but more for research. But it's a long story. I'll tell you off air.
Yeah.
But on the dating, Karen's laughing. She knows what I'm talking about. Um, so on this, I had an individual approach me, and I told him about the Wake Nation. I tell everyone, hey, you can see me on the Wake Nation, and the individual actually says to me that he's married and living with his wife, but they're like brother and sister. And I'm like, Okay, what part about I am a truth teller did you not understand here? So what are your thoughts about it? I mean, he was
So,
honest,
so I would not make him wrong because you don't want to make anybody wrong. You can say, "Thank you so much for being honest. I
which is what I
really
said.
appreciate. Um, we're not compatible, but I wish you all the best. I only date men that are divorced. So when you divorce, move out, and the divorce paper are signed and stamped, call me. Maybe we'll
Right,
have a date if I'm still around. But it
right.
was lovely talking to you.
That's what I
I
Mhm.
had
did.
a girl, she went on a date with a guy who wasn't divorced. And she said, "What do I do?" "Just tell him what I told you." So she told him, "Until the divorce paper is signed and stamped, I'm not comfortable to go out with you." He got divorced in 3 weeks and now they're happily married. And maybe it would take much longer, but because she set
That's
her
crazy.
boundaries, it worked.
So
Yeah.
your advice is gold.
Yeah.
Thank you. With the right person. Look, if the person is toxic and player, it's not going to work, but at least they didn't waste months and years out of your life. Let them run.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, when you know what you want and you have boundaries, the right people will stick and do what they say they will do, and the wrong people will run away because they will see that there is no game to play. And if they don't do it your way, then they're out.
It's always good to be kind. Didn't you agree?
Yes, it's always good to be kind, but sometimes people mistake kindness for being stupid
Or
and
weak?
or weak. Yes, and kindness is a strength. And it's just to have healthy boundaries. So the feminine energy is kind, but she also have very strict boundaries, and
Yes.
nobody will cross them. She
I
will
am
make it very
kind
clear.
except for the stalkers. Thank you for calling. Block.
No, that's unethical, illegal, immoral. Anything that's unethical, illegal, immoral, you got to be protective of yourself, and sometimes you have to call the cops, doctor, or lawyer because you can't handle those unethical people. So that's okay.
Have you have ever had a relationship where the woman comes to you, she says she knows the husband's cheating, she wants out of the relationship, she's been abused and she's afraid because it's my understanding I was married to an individual who was a counselor. He had his MA in psychology. He ran his parents' marriage family crisis counseling office and also was very adept at neurolinguistic programming language, but he used it in a bad, nefarious position. So if you're my understanding is that when you're leaving a domestic situation in which there's been abuse, that is the most dangerous time to leave. What kind of advice would you have for an individual that is trying to separate and that comes to you without, they don't actually even want you to counsel the husband, they're coming to you for counsel as to what they should do and how they extricate themselves?
Well, first, I help them to love themselves and to stop ignoring the signs that they saw for so long. It's not that the other person hurt them, it's they were ignoring the sign for so long and why. So we go into the ignoring and not blaming anyone, but taking responsibility to be in that relationship and heal those parts of you that didn't believe that they deserve to leave or they deserve better. So I don't focus on the toxic person. I don't even blame them. We just work on the person in front of me because that's the only person I can change. And then we work on forgiveness, not because we agree what they did, so they can be free and they can actually experience love in the next relationship. That doesn't mean they should ever be around that person. It's just for them not to drink their pain, hoping that they feel bad. So it's a very important part too. The forgiveness of that person that hurt them so much, and the forgiveness for themselves that they allow it. Because without that, you're not going to be free.
I'm glad you brought that up, Penny. Can I ask one more question? Sorry, I'm full of questions. Um, so let's say someone is in a relationship, it's not going well. They're going to therapy to work on themselves, exactly what you're saying, and they're making positive changes. And the relationship, maybe it's not getting better, maybe it's getting worse. How do you really know when it's over? Like, at what point? Like, for me, it's when I realize I'm not a priority anymore. I'm out. But
I
what do
always,
you really know? And how long do you stick around to see if they're going to change as a result of your change? Or it's just, nope, I
you
love
don't,
myself.
you don't always have to stick around. When you fed up enough that the pain is so big, you can put the relationship in crisis. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to divorce, but it means that you're going to take a break and give their time limit of what needs to happen in order for you to stay in that relationship. And if that doesn't happen, then you may leave. So that might be the first step if someone wants to be in a relationship. Obviously, I have a lot of couples that want to kill each other, that have restraining orders on each other, that hate each other, and they come to my office, and after one session, clarity, they change and they start to work on themselves and they back together, and then we work a little bit and everything goes well. Because if there is love, it's always possible to bring it together. But you cannot carry the couch alone in a relationship. You need two people to carry one side of the couch. So if you're carrying the couch alone, it's just not going to work because you can't do it all alone. It's a dance. So if your partner is not willing to work on themselves, eventually you will leave them, not because you don't love them, but you're no longer compatible and don't share the same value, and they don't grow with you and they want you to carry everything alone. That happens quite often. And I feel like most men don't want to work on themselves. They think they know it all. So it's really hard shell to crack. But there is also that part of when a woman becomes more feminine and loves herself, they feel the threat that she may leave. And that's when they start to do the work. So it's both ways. I feel like if woman is masculine, she can definitely destroy the relationship because men are good men. I'm not talking about sociopath, but a good man are like puppy. If you train them well, they won't pee anywhere. But if you don't train them well, they piss all over. So if you have a
Oh,
good
man.
man and you get into your feminine energy, then they more likely willing to adjust themselves. And sometimes you have to reinvent yourself within the relationship. You're not the same person every year. So you grow into many different women. And if your partner is not willing to grow with you, then it's a problem. But if they appreciate who you're becoming, then it can get more exciting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I've had couples that were extremely toxic. One of my clients um, tried to murder his wife. Obviously, he went to jail. So that was a very difficult case. And I knew in session one, I don't know if it's a gut intuition.
How did you know in session one? Was he there?
Yeah, he came for one session. I knew because I went to the home library and there was 2,000 books about how to murder someone
Oh shit.
and how to murder someone with arsenic. And I'm like, there is something off here.
Right?
Yeah. Because if that's the only thing you read, then there is something off.
Right.
That was
Like
a
when
whole
you're
library.
Googling how to murder my wife and then your wife disappears, on a 3-hour tour,
Yeah.
on the side of the love boat, so to speak.
So for
Yeah.
everybody listening, get a divorce before you research how to poison your spouse, okay?
Right.
Is that
Don't-
do you sign off on that advice, Dr. Eustache?
So yeah, it's I feel like if you can be with someone, just leave. There's no point of trying to hurt someone because eventually you're hurting yourself. So
Yes.
just go and work on yourself, obviously. Yeah.
Karen, did you have any questions?
No, I don't. I mean, she's given great nuggets out there. And, you know, anyway, she's just saying, hey, don't give away all the goods before you check them out, right?
Right. Well, we have
Yeah.
2 women. You're married, and Catherine is married.
Yep.
So 2 married women, and then 2. Well, I am single, and
Mhm.
Heather Day, soon to be single. Correct?
Yeah, and thank you for letting me be a guinea pig and share all this and giving me this advice. I'm doing
Anytime.
it for selfish reasons, but also for the people listening as well, because I'm hoping, other people can gain from it. So
But
Yes.
I
And
have to say that from the last time I spoke with you and today, there's a shift into more feminine energy, which I really like. And I want you to continue on that journey because it makes you magically beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
You're
things are
welcome.
moving forward. My freedom is soon to arrive. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you for noticing.
Yes, Heather is an amazing individual too. Heather, can you tell her a little bit about your travails the in the medical side of your schooling?
Sure. Yeah. So first, I got a musical theater degree right out of high school, followed my heart and all this. But when I was older, I settled down and was going to major in nutrition. And then my mom was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, cholangiocarcinoma. So I switched to pre med, which is a kinesiology, but I added stuff to make it pre med. And so then I got married. I met in college another pre med. So I gave up my med school chance and I said, okay, I'll get married and have children because I was about 29 by this point. So I didn't go to medical school. So I sit and I very bored housewife style research, blog and all these things and continue my stuff. And then eventually when 2020 started, I finally went back to grad school and got into a microbiology program and a bioinformatics program like at the same time and then kind of juggled those. But now with my divorce, I'm not going to school. I haven't been to school since the end of 2022. So I'm putting all that on hold. But I'm hoping to get a PhD like you. This is my dream, is to continue in advanced education and health or something like that, but not medical school. So everything happens for a reason. I don't want that anymore. So
Yeah, you have to follow your heart and you will be excellent because only a person that went through lots of suffering and pain can help others because you're going to have compassion and understanding. And sometimes when you help someone that went through the same thing as you can't really help someone if you've never been in that situation. It's kind of hard, because it's hard to relate. So you're definitely going to do a great job.
okay, so can I overshare some more? Because you hit on such a
Do
nail on
it.
the head, and you're a relationship doctor. So one of my struggles was miscarriages, recurring miscarriages.
Yes.
Okay, this is pain,
I've had
pain. Yeah.
I've had many clients who went through it. I myself had three, and it's a lot of women don't talk about it, and it's a very painful thing. But and they feel kind of shame or they don't want to bring the pain. But I feel like it's healthy to bring it up because a lot of women go through it, and it's my sister went through it, my best friends, like lots of women. I would say 2 women out of 10 go through it, or 3. It's
Mhm.
quite common. So it's a painful thing, but you have to look at the blessing, what happens when you actually do have a child after. So it's just sometimes the body goes through a lot of stress. We're dealing with a lot of things, and it's not
Mhm.
meant to be in that moment. And it's just to trust God that it's going to happen and stay in that fate. And it can be hard in a relationship when you go through a lot of stress and it happens and you feel like resentment or blame, but it's to go back to you. It is my responsibility to be happy. I went through a breakup with the father of my son while I was pregnant, and I'm
Mm.
like, what am I going to do? And I said, I'm going to be the happiest woman ever. And I just went on a journey of happiness for my son. So you have to be responsible for your own happiness no matter what situation you're in, because that's the only way. I mean, if Nelson Mandela could find peace in a jail, and he says you can find a peace within your own prison, why can't we find it in the comfort of our home? So no matter what's going on, you got to forgive yourself and your partner, whatever was the situation, but always know that it is your responsibility to work on your happiness every day, because happiness is progress. It doesn't come for free.
And look at
But
what you're doing now after that. That's what's in. So I've been thinking, I'd like to offer, some kind of resource or support for women who are going through that because I feel like they're just a forgotten group of women. I know
yeah,
it destroys relationships. I mean, I can vouch for that, but it's true. We're responsible for our own happiness and
yeah. So it's not to let them go into the victimhood. It's okay for them to feel the pain. It's to make them understand that these things happened and forgive themselves, their partner, whatever was the situation, and work on their happiness so they can get what they want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very deep conversations.
Thank you.
When is your documentary coming out? Is it a documentary, the film
Who?
that you're working on?
No, I don't have a documentary
You
coming
don't.
out. I wrote a feature film, romantic comedy, How to Be Feminine, and it's
Yes.
based on the book. And we are now pitching it and looking into the cast to make it
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
And I have a romantic comedy TV series, The Ringmasters. It's like Sex in the City with Seinfeld. It's very funny. It's
Ooh.
worst dating stories you've ever heard in your life, multiplied thousand. So it's very funny.
Is that
So-
already out? That one?
No, it's all in progress, in production.
Very
So
nice.
hopefully next year or two, everything will be out. Because I love to laugh and I love romantic comedy.
You're
And
also a comedian, correct?
yes, yes. I love making people laugh and I love to laugh. And my dad is the funniest man on earth. And so is my grandma. So there's lots of laughter in our family. My dad is so funny, he will make people laugh even at funeral. That's how funny he is.
Oh my God. I just want to
Everything.
say that I want to thank you, Dr. Elena, for coming on every other week. You're just a joy. And, when I say the love doctor, they're like, the love doctor, what's that? But they have no idea the depth of who you are and what you do. And I do indeed want to thank you for coming on the Awake Nation and just spreading the love and spreading your information. And I look forward to coming on again next week. And please give out your information again. It's not next week, but the week after.
So my Instagram is Dr._Elena Eustache_. And my website, eustacheinstitute.com. And the phone number is 424-362-9652.
And what's your address again?
205 South Beverly Drive, Beverly Hills, 90212, Suite 214.
Wait, 90212. Wasn't that a television series?
Yeah.
So I want to thank all the lovely ladies that are taking place and being co-hosts with me in this 5th hour of the Awake Nation. And Karen Britt, where can people find you?
You can find me on the elasticarmyband.com. You can find me on the East Coast Hub on Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. And also I co-host with Karina Pataki on the Quest for Truth on Facebook and on YouTube. And also Kingdom Talks with Gil Hodges.
Like, you're not busy or anything.
No, not just like
Not
you.
at all.
Right? It's like, I'm not going to text her because I'm pretty sure she's up. She works 18 hours. Heather, where can people find you and your book?
Yeah, heatherdaymusic.com. I have my music up there. I also have consultations open now if anyone wants music lessons or even help with writing their book. And then my book is available on Amazon, barnesandnoble.com. I just got it in the local Barnes and Noble. I'm
Ooh,
excited.
nice. And the
So,
title?
It's AI 2030, and it's very masculine thinking sci-fi. But maybe my next book will have some more feminine. I don't know. So.
And Catherine, I cannot. Would you please just say your name for me?
The last name, Sorilos.
Sorilos?
Sorilos, yep.
Sorilos.
Yep.
Sorilos.
Sorilos, yep.
Sorilos. Okay, because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always say Sorilos.
It's very-
It's like,
It's
no.
it's Greek, but it sounds very Italian
It does.
we do have
Sorilos. It is Sorilos? Say it
yeah,
again.
Sorilos, yep.
Sorilos. Okay.
Yeah.
Just I'm going to say it like 5,000 times until I get it right. And Catherine, where can people find you?
They can find me with my name, Catherine Sorilos, on all the social media platforms or as Oracle Whispers on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and right here on you guys.
Right. So I want to thank everyone for watching the Awake Nation. We're going to be back again tomorrow. We are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central, 9 to 2 Eastern time. And, I've started this thing where I'm doing the big dating game kiss to say goodbye to everybody. I don't know why, because it's Dr. Elena Eustache, and she's the love doctor. So I'm going to say we're out of time, so we're out of here, and I'm going to give everyone a big kiss.
Are we gonna? Okay.
Bye. Bye, ladies. Bye. Love
Wait,
you. Bye.
goodbye for today from the Awake Nation with co-hosts David Zublik and Penny L.A. Shepherd. We invite you to join us live on Rumble Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us for the Awake Nation News, 1 hour all news, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Followed by 4 hours of one-on-one interviews with influencers who defy the mainstream narrative. The Awake Nation, the truth with a shot of espresso. On behalf of the Awake Nation, with co-hosts David Zublik and Penny L.A. Shepherd, we thank you for watching the Awake Nation and ask you to join us again Monday through Saturday.